Hi everyone, this is installment 2 in the software behind desktop publishing tutorials. This installment is all about adding text and the effects that you can do to your text boxes and all of that stuff. So go ahead and pull up your InDesign. I already have a document set up and open from the last installment. First thing we're going to talk about is basically the easiest and most basic way to add type into your document is to just use your type tool. It's very simple, and it's just this little guy right here, the T for type tool. If you right click and on this, it's coming off on my other screen here. Let me pull this over. Alright. If you right click on this, you see there's different ways that you can utilize your type tool. And I will show you this one a little bit later in this tutorial. But for now, we're just going to use the basic type tool. So go ahead, and now that that's open, you'll see your little typer on your mouse. Go ahead and just left click and drag, and you'll see a box form here. So now this is just going to be your text box. So you see you can make it any size you want to. A tip is if you want it to be completely proportionate, if you hold down Shift, you'll get a perfect square that's completely proportionate all around as you're dragging around. And then the minute you let go, you're back to whatever you want. So I'm just going to create a small little text box here. And instantly my little typer shows up and I'm able to type. So we'll just type in the software behind desktop publishing your tutorials. Oops. Alright, and let me fix that. Okay. There's just a basic sentence, and you can see it's kind of cut off here. You can take this. The cool thing is that that does not have to be like that. Your text box can be moved around like any other object in InDesign. Go ahead, if you click your selection tool, which is the black mouse right here. You just click on that, you see your text box change into basically what the objects look like in InDesign, to where you can drag them and reshape them however you want to. So I'm going to make it really, really small. And you can see how you can get them to fit, move them around however you want to. If you want to move it completely to a different place, just go ahead, click, hold, and drag, and you can move it wherever you want to on the page. Alright, so another thing is that your direct selection tool, which is your white mouse, that guy will change the shape of your text box. So I could take my corner here and I could drag it out and make, an odd square polygon shape. And your text will just move around within how you arrange your box here. So that's kind of cool. You can make some really neat shapes with that. That works very nicely with certain designs that you may need to create at some point. Okay, and if at any time, remember, if at any time, it's very important, you don't like something that you did, if you hit Control-Z on PC, you can undo all these steps that you just did. And now I'm back to my regular square, right? Going back around. You can change them however you want to. Go back and do things. It's very helpful. It's a nice quick thing when you're really concentrated on things and trying to get work done. Okay, so the other cool thing, of course, like any other thing, like Word, Illustrator, any of that, you can, of course, if you double click in here, your text key will show up again. And if you highlight this guy, you can, of course, come up here to the top is one of the places that it says you can change your size. There's little arrows and then there's drop down. You can also change your text. So we'll just pop them in there. Another place that might be is over here on your right side. There's typically a little box. It's your character box. And if it's not showing, you can go up into Windows and you can select it in here and type in tables. Your character box will show up right in there. And you can select that so that it does show for you, and of course rearrange it in your boxes over here. That works for you. Alright, so for demonstration purposes, I am going to make this box a little smaller. I don't want so many words in here, so make it smaller. Alright, and you'll see that when my text is cut off, this little red box shows up with a little plus sign in it. And that all that means is that you're cutting off your text. What do you want to do about it? So another cool thing that is in InDesign that's helpful, especially if you're doing newsletters or brochures, is it's called text flow, and you can basically move the remainder of this text that's not showing in here into a second, third, fourth, however many text box that you add. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same step that we did earlier and just create another text box here. Okay? And so now when I hit my selection tool, if I come right over here and hover over this little red box with a plus sign, you'll see my mouse gets a little square next to it. That just means there's something there for me to grab, basically. So if you just click on that, you'll see my text kind of all comes over here. Now you can move this into any text box you want to. We're going to pop it in here. Just click it in there, and you'll see that the remainder that is not showing in here has popped up in here now. And so this is my text flow box. And so now basically these two text boxes are connected. So if I was to take this guy and make it even smaller, you'll see that the text box just continues to build. The text builds in this text box so that you can see all of your text. And again, if you make it bigger, it goes away, right? Alright, so that's a cool thing called text flow. Another thing you can do with your text boxes is you can add multiple columns. So I'm going to make this guy big again and get rid of my second box. Okay. So by making multiple columns, you just want to go ahead, when your text box is selected, you're going to want to highlight your text here. And if there's any changes you want to make to it, you can easily do that. Again, so I'm just going to copy paste this a few times just for the effect. Okay. So now with my text box selected here, I'm going to make it bigger. And I have got unbalanced columns checked right now. You can make your columns even if that's what you prefer, or you could leave them unbalanced. I like them unbalanced, it creates a more natural flow. If you go over here into paragraph, there's plenty more things that you can do with your text box, and your text in the box, whereas just moving it over, you know, it's nice to play with this. And this, again, is your paragraph box. So if you don't have that, it's nice. You can find it. I mean, that's a nice effect. You can find it the same place we found character, under Windows, type in tables, paragraph, right there again. Alright. And of course, like anything else, you can change your alignment, and all of that great stuff. Alright, so this is the basic way, and easiest, most frankly, to create your text. If you're going to be copying and pasting, you can do it the same way. You can create a text box and just paste whatever words that you have from wherever right into the text box. And you can, of course, continue to do all of the same things that we just did, even with your pasted text. Okay. So, as I talked about earlier, you can make multiple columns. I didn't add as many as I wanted to. Alright. So, just want to take this guy and make him big. Have all these words in here so that you can just kind of get a better idea of the column. So, if you go and you look at your top bar up here, in this right hand corner, you're going to see this little, it almost looks like a brochure, just a little 3-page thing. And you just need to mark it up, and you can get as many columns as you want to. And as you look at these columns, you'll see the space in the middle here. And that's your gutter, as we talked about when you create a new document. Okay, so that's the basics to text and text flow in InDesign software. And I will see you on the next installment.